Okay, people, I am going a little tiny bit crazy because that's what I do. But one of the things that is driving me crazy is I cannot tell the difference between the colors of these pens. Burgundy looks almost black. Blue looks almost black. And black sometimes looks something other than black. So there's three complete color pens that are so close that I have to use every photon in my house to sort them out. And I know some of you snobs out there are saying, well, why bother even sorting them out? They're just skylines. Yes, that's very true. They are, in fact, just skylines. But skylines are people too. And skylines have absolutely great nibs in them. So there's more burgundy sitting here right on the goddamn floor. Burgundy. God bless. Burgundy. Okay, I have to hold it up to the light just exactly right. Burgundy. Things that I thought were black 2 seconds ago are now burgundy. This is brown. What can brown do to you, for you, with you? Burgundy. Burgundy. And this could go on other colors, but I'm calling it burgundy. Okay, where did I put my coffee? What color is this? This is black. What is this? Burgundy. Why is it over here? Needs a new sack. Burgundy. So what I'm trying to do is I need to find little boxes to put these in. Okay, where are my little boxes? Hey, Friedrich. I'm trying to put burgundy Skyline parts in one box, black Skyline parts in another box. This is another one that goes on the metal pens. Save those. And brown. And brown. And burgundy. They're all too similar in blue. Blue, blue. Blue, blue. I don't have a lot of blue, so I should just blue. Empty. Okay, put this over here because I don't need this now. Blue. Where did blue go? I just had blue. Blue. See, is this blue or not? Yes, it is blue. Blue. Green and gray I'm putting together because I can tell those apart. It's just it's horrible. And you know, I learned something well, I didn't learn something. I relearned something at the pen show. My customers don't care what the pen looks like. I sold a pen that had I said this section is supposed to be brown like the rest of the pen. It's black. Deal with it. And they said, fine. I said if it had everything right, correct, it would be $20 more. Fine. So I'm to the point where I don't, it's not that I don't care. I would love to be able to put all of the pens perfectly together, but I can't, and I won't, and I don't. So, and I don't need to for my customers. I don't need to for my regular customers. For you, Frederick, you might be a little bit more sophisticated than some of these people. But then again, you might not be. No, I know that if I had a pen that was all put together with parts and had a perfect nib for you, you wouldn't care. So, yeah, my customers want the nib for the use that they need. There are very sophisticated pen collectors and pen users who, if I didn't have a pen shop and I just had a pen assortment and bought them to use and to admire and ooh and ah over and gush over, I'd want them all to be correct as well, or I'd aim to get them correct. But I know that I would buy any pen anywhere that had a nice nib, and I don't care what it looks like. So my pen collection would immediately turn into what it is right now. Did you see my cute little number 0? Where did I put my cute little number 0? It needs a sack. Isn't it darling? How many number 0s with a clip, pen and pencil set, both with clips, have you ever seen in your life? The number on the nib will give you the answer. You've seen none. I have seen none in the flesh until you've seen 2? Well, you slut. You get around a lot more than I do, I guess. I've never seen one. Normally, I don't even pay attention to number 0s because they're just too small for my use. You know, I can deal with a lady's pen most any day of the week, but something that's as tiny as that one, I just can't. Yeah, I know, George. I love that. It could have been George's communion. No, that's even late. First communion. That's the one that I should sell to Donald Trump to make his hands look bigger. I have huge hands. Huge hands. They're huge. Huge. Look at my hands. It's not even, well, it's after 7 now, covered in ink. Okay, guess what I have to bring out here? It's another complete tray full of Skyline parts. And other things, I guess. Okay, this is a symphony. Weird pen. This is one of those later, who knows what's. That's another later, who knows what. I think those like weird gold seal pens that look like they were made of parts. We got a bunch of these things that we didn't lathe correctly. Can we just do something with them. Oh yeah, yeah. Take that, put that there, and do this and do that, and call it a day. Pencil. What's this vacuumatic part doing here? What color is this? It's broken. I don't care what color it is. Yeah, one day that would be fun to find. Red top checking leads. Beige, 3 of them. Okay, burgundy. This is burgundy on one side and sort of brown on another. So where's my burgundy? Skyline pencils. I should just put these all in a bag and flush them down the toilet. Do you think they'd go through the system? Typical symphony pen. The inside comes out. Oh, this is a shitty. This is a symphony with a steel-plated nib. I mean, a gold-plated nib. It doesn't screw on anyway. Okay, where are my symphony pen parts? In my hand. I have some in my hand. Green. Green with a leopard. See, is this a symphony? No. See, this is a weird size. Broken. I've decided to put all of my broken pieces. I know these have levers. But I can take a hammer to them and break them later. Well, it's burgundy. Call it burgundy pencil. Striated ones. The wine-colored pens, they are quite lovely. One up there. Maybe I'll make it for myself. Symphony. Pencil. Pencil. Symphony. Or shitty post-symphony pens. Symphony. Symphony. Symphony pens almost always are warped. This is cracked. Fuck that. Throw it away. Put it over there. This is a symphony section though. I just put all my moires in one basket. I don't think I have parts to complete them. I'm putting all my moires in one basket. Blue and green. Where's my blue section? Green and gray go together. Blue is over here. Fifth Avenue shard. I don't know if I can get that apart. That's burgundy. It's blue. This is blue. You would never know it. because it's almost black. This is black. Richard Dickerson. Richard Dickerson owned this pen. Black. Where's my black pens? Black. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Rather than trying to look at them after the fact, what I'm going to do is look in this drawer and take out all of the pens that I think, green and gray. Oh, this is, oh, no, it isn't. Green and gray pencil. I'm already mixing myself up. Blue. Let me just take all the green and grays out of here. That's cracked. Green. Symphony. I think this is blue. I'm calling it black. You can sue me. Parker. What's Parker doing here? How's Parker, by the way? Speaking of Parker. Brown. What can brown do to you, for you, with you? Brown. Burgundy. Seems like a hell of a lot of burgundy pens here. Burgundy, brown, it's a broken brown, symphony, green, green and gray. Good little Dago. Would you like to come on screen here, Friedrich? You don't have to be wearing pants. I'm not wearing any shirt or pants. Don't tell anyone. Red. Well, it seems to me the most common color of Skyline is burgundy. Symphony. An Esterbrook nib. This is another one of those weird ones. Wool Oxford. Burgundy. Green. Oh, a burp pen. I'm going to put the burp pen in with the symphonies. Black. Weird. symphony? No. This is a Skyline. Okay, I'll give you a minute. Let me know when you're back. I'm just not doing a very good job of keeping a conversation going because I get distracted by my searching for parts here. That's black. Desk pen part. Black. Is this a symphony pen part? This is a symphony. Brown. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to poetry. I did a drawing of a guy yesterday, and he's a poet from Brazil, and he wrote a poem about the drawings I was doing of him, his naked body. And I sometimes look at poetry and I just don't understand how to read it. I find poetry, I don't have a poetic mind, I guess. Brown. Feeds. Black. Okay, are you ready to join us? Black. Burgundy. Waterman feed, what's that doing in here? Burgundy. Black. Well, I don't know the difference of where this guy would fit in, but I understood some of it and I liked what I read, but part of it seemed a little here's a weird pen. I wonder if this, who knows, I'll call it a desk pen part. I think part of this guy's cunning plan was in a way to try to seduce me into into, it was he misread, I guess, my drawing him naked as my trying to seduce him, and I think his poetry was maybe trying to seduce me. But he lives in another hemisphere, so what difference does it make anyway, you know? Friedrich.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. So back to poetry and seduction. This looks like this would hold a number 8 size Skyline nib, which they didn't make, but it's a huge. I wonder if this is an executive. That might be an executive one. So, how many sizes Skyline pens were there, Friedrich?
Well, you got 3.
Okay, what are they?
Demi, regular, and executive.
Okay, what about now when you say Demi, what describe the Demi for me?
The Demi is about 1.5 centimeters shorter in length than the regular length.
Okay.
And the executive is 1 centimeter longer than the regular, and it's also beefier.
Beefier.
Yeah.
Well, you are 3/4 the way correct, and you're saying that there are 3 sizes, because there was a 4th size. And the 4th size is like you see some Parker 51s, that later aerometric ones that are thinner.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Skyline made one of those thinner, shorter, smaller ones. And of course, I never can tell if I have a executive in my hand or a regular one without putting them side by side and looking at them in a bright light. And the same thing with this other thing. It's almost imperceptibly smaller until you try to put a cap on it that doesn't fit.
Yeah, it's like that weird like second to the last pattern Skyline I have where the cap is a flat top.
Yeah.
That's not I can't find it in like most of the pattern books or anything. The only thing I ever found it in was one of the original Eversharp catalogs, but none of the collector's books ever listed it. But that doesn't surprise me. You know, they focus on what they want to focus on.
Yes, and then they realize, what were we thinking? We can't possibly come up with everything, so let's just call it a day. Make sure that I put a high value on my wherever collection so that I can retire. But
yeah, well, when I or that way, when I encounter something that I really want that I don't have, I could tell somebody that has it it's worthless and it really doesn't exist. Whereas a Franken pen, and I could buy it for $10.
Yes. Well, thankfully, we're not all cheats and swindlers.
Yeah, we're not all charlatans. Yeah,
but you know, we aspire to that.
Unfortunately, we know quite a few in.
Yes, we have many many people we can look up to and copy, imitate their actions.
Yeah, one that likes to wear fishing vests, or used to. Yeah.
Okay. So look at this. Is this one of those? I think this is the Demi Cap in smooth gold fill, but it does not. Oh, you're not seeing it. This will not go on. So this is a Demi-sized cap. I think I have like 2.5 and now 2 2/2 of that pen. You know, nothing is interchangeable. So
Of course not. I don't think there was ever any, whether it was when it was Wall Eversharp, I don't think they ever had any quality control.
No, they didn't. If you line up um, every deco banded pen that you can that you can find in your collection, in my collection, and three other people's collection, and put them all next to each other, that little gold seal just goes up and down. It's like follow the bouncing ball,
Yeah,
cartoon.
yeah.
It just there's most of the time they're at least centered, but
If you're lucky. Yeah, yeah.
but they're all over the map. And so they, what they were aiming at is a little confusing to me because it does. It's another weird one.
I guess to them it didn't matter as long as it had it on it somewhere.
Yeah, until they drilled a hole in it to cancel the
Right.
warranty.
Well, just like when they sold the ones with the canceled ones, they cut the iridium off the nib tips, and they were selling them with nibs with no iridium on them, gold nibs, but no iridium on them.
It seems
sold
to
them
me
on
that's embracing stupidity. Like why
Yeah.
it cost money for them to make it cheaper by ruining it. I don't see the logic in that at all. If it was somehow,
Well, I don't
if
know if it was a way for them that was the way that the company was done through receivership, where that was how it was sold out to make sure it didn't come back as a company product.
okay,
And that's why it was cleared out that way. There's never been any explanation on why that large batch went through that way at the close of the market. But when it did, that large batch actually, with the cancellation, got sold out of a garage that was like 3 blocks away from the Wall factory.
okay,
So whoever bought that lot out of receivership actually sold that lot out of a garage
okay,
at the back of their house to all the pen dealers and all that in the Chicago area.
okay. Well, that's interesting. I sometimes see. See, here's another. This has to be for us. You can't see. This has to be for one of those executives because it's way bigger.
Yeah, that is a fairly large section for any kind of Skyline style pen.
I don't know what it would be from. Okay, there's a point at which when I'm doing things in sorting out drawers, I get to the point where, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to throw them all back together again.
I get the same way.
They're just crumbs at this point. I'm just looking at, and here's a Conklin cap that doesn't belong in here, but I'm too lazy to move it into the Conklin drawer. So there's always this little, maybe I should take a pliers and break every part of it and sell it out of a garage like the Wall people did.
Yeah. Well, I at one point I started. Eventually, I got frustrated with the point of a lot of the third tier stuff, and I just started finally just taking a pair of pliers and just crushing the stuff and just pulling out the parts that were useful, and then just making a shoebox full of, pressure bars, a shoebox full of levers, a shoebox full of clips, a shoebox full of, and it was like, here, each of these parts are, $5 a piece or $2 a piece. You dig through it, knock your socks off. And I ended up making more money that way than trying to sell the damn wherever pen or whatever it was. It was less hassle that way.
Yeah, they are. It is a way to get rid of stuff, and I think I told you this before, but I'll tell it to you again because it's a cute story. I had a box a suitcase that was full of pens that were relatively useless, and I had already yanked out all the pressure bars, or the spring-loaded pressure J bars out of them. So they really weren't great. Wherever might have been the best pen in there,
Right.
and I had them, for, at a show for $3 a piece, and there was always someone at my suitcase digging through, trying to find the snake pen or something, which of course wasn't there, but
Unless it rolled off the table. Yeah.
one of the local douchebags did find he bought it from me with another couple of pens he found, and he said one of those was a Parker Challenger with a gold nib. Well, good for
Oops.
you. Good for fucking you. I mean, it got there. It was in there by mistake. I just want you to understand that. But I stand by my price. But I'm not that dumb to sell even something as low.
Yeah. Well, I hope he had to sweat for digging through there for that $3
so.
Challenger.
I hope he got a little tiny case of tetanus.
Yeah.
So the next year I had $1 a piece, and there was always someone digging through the things, and they were looking for a clip or looking, or whatever. And then the last year I just got tired of lugging this suitcase around. 3 for $1. Now, how can you go wrong with 3 for $1?
Right.
So 3 for $1 it was, 3 for $1 all day long, 3 for $1. People would come up with 3 pens and they'd give me $1, or 6 pens and give me 2. And it was time for everyone to go home. And people are packing up, and at that time I had a car, so I'd bring all sorts of shit with me. And I ended up making my last rounds and going back, and there was this one guy at the suitcase, and he would come up to me with $1 and show me 3 pens and put in his pocket, and then go back and look some more. So he came back with 2 pens and $6, gave me that, and then I said, I tell you what, you can have the entire suitcase for nothing, for free. Just take it. And he looked at me like, oh my God. And he went back and he started looking through the thing again, came back with 6 pens and $2. I said, no, you don't understand. You can have the entire thing for free.
Yeah, just take the suitcase. Yeah.
My wife would kill me. And I said, she doesn't have to know. Just put it in the garage. And anytime you want to have fun, you just go to your garage and say, honey, I have to work on my flat tire. And you can.
Yeah, and go dig out three more pens, put them in your pocket, and walk in the house. Yeah.
and put the money in the cookie jar for the kids' college fund or something. And he said no. And he went back and looked again, found 3 more pens and gave me another $1. I said, okay, whatever. So the next day, of course, I had to lug it back home.
Right.
The next year I brought it out and I set it on a table across from me. There was a couple of dealers that didn't show up, and I said, well, I can certainly spread out my debris field to make it look like there's more people. So
right.
This thing and some t-shirts or coffee mugs or something on a table across from me, and the first person that stopped at it and touched 1 pen, I said, you can have the whole thing for $20. And he could not get that money out of his pocket fast enough. So anyway.
Well, good thing you lucked out then. It was worth lugging it home. Yeah.
Well, but was it worth lugging it back? I mean, if I had to take the amount of time it took me to lug it both ways. But those sorts of tables, those sorts of boxes at tables are really, really fun. People love looking through those things.
Yeah.
And even if they don't intend to buy anything, they sort of like the idea that they're treated so casually. And
it's treated casually. They don't really have to ask. It's a treasure hunt for them.
Yeah.
they're so used to somebody, kind of, glowering at them from the other side of the table, because they might breathe on their $1,300 pen under glass.
Yeah.
Um, that they're kind of gun shy, I
Yeah.
mean, so they see something like that and somebody goes, yeah, go ahead, dig through there. Well, yeah, it's like a kid in a candy store picking, with their one penny in their hand, deciding which gumball they want,
Yeah. Do I want the purple one or the red one again?
Right.
Krasner comes closest to having that sort of, because he bought the Berliner pen store and also had been collecting for millions of years too. So he had lots of pens that he had no particular desire in fixing, or the ability to fix, or whatever. And so he would have cigar boxes full of different degrees of Schleg.
Yeah.
He,
Class A, B, or C. Yeah.
and he would, there were project pens, there were sad cases, there were. It was really neat the way he labeled them. And at the pen show, I had brought it to it. I don't know why I did, but I had a big, or maybe he saw it at my house. I had a bunch of neon black cardboard things at about 3 feet long, with big neon light lettering that said "low mileage, one owner." Things that were from a car dealership. And he put those all over his table next to the things, and it was just cracked me up. He has a really fun sense of humor, I think, and anyway, so his table often has a lot of boxes that you can look through. So
I still I still like digging through things like that, because sometimes there still is parts that I need still. I mean,
yeah,
it's just the way it
for
is.
An equipoise cracked barrel might have the lever you need, with
Right.
that or that Doric with a little faceted lever.
Yeah.
And you could take a hammer to it, and you could put
Right.
the lever in a little glycine baggie with a little tag that says Doric lever, and mark it $20. But Jeff Krasner or me or you would have to,
Yeah.
get a glycine thing and make a tag and put it in the
Yeah.
spot where we would
Yeah.
know. It's just easier having it in a thing. And there's something very, very, I'll just do it right here in front of you. I've done this occasionally on this very program, on this very channel, where I'll
Yeah.
it's like,
That always
walnuts.
drives people nuts. Yeah. And it's like,
It's walnuts. Yeah. And now, so now my parts tray has this thing, which I can actually use in a pen that's missing a lever. So anyway, Frank Dubiel would tell stories about stepping on, whether this is exaggerated by 2 or 3 sizes, I do not know. But when he was a
you never
kid,
know with Frank. Yeah.
when he was a kid, he would, I go to flea markets and I'd see a Waterman 20 in Ripple, and it was broken. There was not a good part of it, and I just yanked the nib out and I just stepped on the thing, broke it into a million pieces. Okay, whatever, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah.
If you didn't find one, did you go to find a dated long leg spider and pull off each one of its legs one at a time, and then take a hammer and put it out of its misery.
Misery, yeah.
Okay, so my perfectly clean, tidy desk is now covered with the Sargasso Sea of Skyline parts.
Well, did you have a large request for Skylines, or
I didn't have a large request for Skylines, but but there was 2 or 3 that were in my area that looked like it was an area that meant to be sacked. And as I looked at them, I saw that, their section was the wrong color, or this one didn't have a cap. And I just thought, well, if I have the ability to make them correct, why don't I do that? But one of the things I did was, I'm trying to learn to love every nib, and that it's hard sometimes. Those half of anything that Schaefer made is too broad and way too firm for my taste.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, and a good third of a Skyline nibs have that same sort of overly broad, overly firm feel to them. But then I thought, well, let's take off my calligraphy hat and let's put on my drawing hat again. So I've been trying to do drawings with pens that have a very smooth and slightly rounded nib, so I can go uphill and while pressing down, and see if I enjoy drawing with them.
At least the Skyline nibs have still a little bit of rubbery elasticity to them, even if they are a stiffer nib.
Usually they do, and usually Schaefer nibs, especially the Waverly upturned snout, those are good for drawing too.
Yeah,
because of that extra bit. You can sort of write more vertically with them, I guess. So,
and that's the ideal pen for a lefty, really. I mean,
it's always a pen that I show. Almost any Schaefer can work with a lefty, but a Waverly nib is especially handy.
I think with the Waverly, for them, they'll feel it's the most smoothest from the start. They can't kill a Schaefer nib if they try, for the most part. But I mean, I think the Waverly nib is the most comfortable from them from the get-go.
Yeah.
Without them putting much effort behind it.
Should I just break these other barrels since I'm here? Let's just do that.
What, you got a bunch of cracked barrels in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well finish them off.
I mean, some are, if they just have a crack in the threads, I may not do that, just because there are ways
still
to
workable.
Make a functional pen out of them. I have many pens that I use. When I try to fix them again, I may have a difficult time, taking them apart. I don't know what I use to put a section in like a Waterman section in a broken thing, but
what I hate is the Eversharp's plastics are notorious for shrinking. Not only the brittleness, but they shrink horribly. They're almost as bad as the Parker 21 plastics. They're horrendous.
Well, especially the symphony pens. I don't think a single one of them ever left the factory tightly
No,
put
it
together.
probably never left the damn mold the way it was intended.
No.
Most of them are notoriously banana shaped.
Yes. I have one that's banana shaped legitimately. I'll show it to you in a second. You know that well, not a theologian. He's a crackpot. He's one of those born again types who see this one has a crack in the section. I'm not going to break that one. It's just cracked. So
No, if that's all it's got, I mean,
it can be
it can be functional.
tweaked and workable. There's a born again Christian who anti-evolutionist person who was under the impression that the shape of the banana created by God made it easy for the human to consume, and because it fit in the hand perfectly. Well, it might fit in the hand perfectly, but why didn't he make the apple be banana shaped then?
Yeah, or any other fruit. Yeah.
Yeah, or corn on the cob can be banana shaped. And then it was pointed out to him that it was through selective breeding that the shape existed. It's a modern
Which is true.
invention.
Yeah, before then the banana was fairly ugly, overly seeded, and not that very flavorful.
Okay, I'll be right back. Let me find that pen.
I think the modern ones we have are the Cavendish. I think. Yeah.
Hello? Thought I heard someone come in my house. So here is the banana shaped.
Holy yeah, that truly is. Yeah.
But it's banana shaped, honestly, because look at the wear.
Someone must have gripped the shit out of that pen.
The whole pen is warped right here. And when you put the cap on it, you're really.
Yeah, look at the wear pattern matches exactly the crux of your hand.
Yeah, and he held it pretty far back. I mean, if it was here, only this part would be, but because both sides, but it's completely the brass down to the brass. And this is completely worn. The gold is off the lever. And the name of this person was Julius Saltz. I wonder if he wrote.
Julius must have been afraid somebody was going to snatch the pen out of his hand because he had a death grip. Yeah.
I mean, he could have had arthritis or something, or had to hold it really, really tight to be able to function.
That's true. Yeah.
But I have I think of him as writing angry letters to the editor, or
yeah, there you go.
Or
yeah.
he was a QAnon theorist, coming up with conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory and trying to get someone to listen. Okay, on another note, I have in my collection of 51 wannabes, I have these pens that are these tower pens or what? But I love them because they're actually very well made. I don't know if you can see.
Well,
Have you ever seen these pens before?
Sears and Roebuck had a brand called Tower. It
Yeah.
was done in the
I think,
50s, but they were
yeah.
made by National Pen Company
Yeah.
for them, and
Yeah.
they were actually quality,
They're
really high
really,
quality
really nice
product.
pens.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that, in fact, I have one that's in a box I will show you in a second. A Tower box. This one, the inner um, plastic on the inner sleeve broke. Um, uh, so I have to, but look at the, if you can see the difference in how the clips were done, where they put they tried to copy the feathers on the 51.
Oh yeah, they just
But
reversed it. Yeah.
they put them down where the point enters the wildebeest, which is not where you want a feather.
The fletching is all wrong. Yeah.
Hold on one second. Let me get that other one. Anyway, I'm just wondering if you see these pens often, or because I sort of
I've
have
seen them occasionally, and then there's a German brand that's Tower as well. So I'm not sure which one that might be, but we might be able to find out if you've got one that's in the box. But I'm almost positive that the 51 copy, I'm almost positive was the one that was made for Sears and Roebuck.
yeah, I think so. Shit. I'll show you one of my Skylines that is a favorite of mine. I can move my body in the right direction here. Something I bought on eBay. Comes with the cardboard box with
Kromka.
the guy's name on the box. You open it up and it has all its papers. And you open up the little velveteen box, and it's one of these wheat sheaf patterns or whatever they called that.
Oh yeah.
And it has his name engraved on the cap band rim. Isn't that
Well, that's
beautiful?
nice. Yeah. I
And
like I like how they did that. And it's not an overly gaudy engraving either.
no, it's quite lovely. Okay, let me see if I can find that tower. Oh, Webster. Maybe I'm thinking of a Webster.
That's another Sears Roebuck product too, I think.
Yeah.
Because Lakeside was Montgomery and Ward. Or Montgomery Ward's. Yeah. Yeah, Lakeside was. I forget what J.C. Penney's brand was.
Maybe I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm just mistaken. Maybe I'm thinking of that Webster. I'll probably find it as soon as I turn off the camera.
And I know before Sears had their own brand, they sold Aiken Lambert and Zonnenecken from Germany.
Aha, I found it. Tower. Okay, tower. The pen with the fount-o-matic point. Oh, please. Is your pen a fount-o-matic point?
Such lovely advertising.
So anyway, this is another one of those pen and pencil set with the fledging in the wrong spot. The fount-o-matic point. I have to show you.
I'm sure they'll claim that it keeps your nib wet as well. Yeah.
This is just so darling.
That's a tiny ass box. What's in there?
One little tiny ass Schaefer, like tuck away before tuck away
That's
existed.
tuck away vac with no tit clip. Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah, those are.
I love that. And the fact that it came in a box all by itself without a pencil. Okay, what am I doing? I stood up. I don't know. Let me put
What about you, Gristle? What do you angle for vintage wise?
I'll tell you in a second. My house is I tell you, walking for me to walk in a straight line 12 feet in a northerly direction, I have to zigzag to step over this piano stool and those shoes and that pile of underwear and Skyline parts everywhere. So, the Germans should have hired me to lay out the defenses on Normandy beachhead.
Yeah, they would have never got off the fucking beach.
Oh my God, a credenza. Oh,
yeah.
a light bulb. This might work.
Yes.
Oh, is that a Skyline Demi Cap?
Yes. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, Gristle. Some people prefer the newer stuff, and there's nothing wrong with inexpensive or cheap stuff. Sometimes you learn more from it and playing around with it and learning what you do like and what you don't like.
Oh.
And other times, most of the newer stuff, you're just paying out the ass for overinflated name. The newer nibs, they're not what the older ones are. So if you're going to invest money in anything, if you're going to spend the money, invest it in the older nibs. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you buy a gold Pelican nib or a Mont Blanc nib or a modern Parker nib. They're all nails. There's no expression. There's no flexibility. They're all wider than, a 6-inch wide, whitewash brush, even if they say they're an extra fine. So if you want an extra fine, then you're going to have to spend another $40 to $90 at a nibsmith to have it ground down finer. It's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
One of my customers at the pen show specific. He wrote in the Isaacson page thing, or I think it was Isaacson. It could have been maybe Todd Merrill's flexible nib thing. I'm going to the Boston Pen shows, Commonwealth Pen Show. I'm looking for a flexible. Who should I get it from? And a lot of people said Mike Daigle. Couple people said me, which saddened me a bit that I wasn't the first person mentioned, but I can understand. Mike is very good at selling flexible nib pens. I'm very good at keeping them for myself.
Yeah, you're the best customer. Yeah.
My best customer. And I think, I didn't ask Mike when he was here whether he collects pens himself or just buys and sells them. I imagine he must have a collection of some sort.
Of some sort. He's got to, I think. I just don't know if he focuses on one thing or he's like us and it's just whatever strikes his fancy at the moment, or it's more of a nib thing. Because he thinks like we do. So I couldn't imagine that he's, micro focused on anything.
I have a feeling that's true. When he was here, I think, if I can say this, the high point of his visit to Boston was, or a high point was coming to my studio here and looking at the layout that I've got and just the way I put things together and display objects in my house. And so I think he very much enjoyed it, as did his friend Scott, his artist friend, who was also
Scott. He does he does comic in drawings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's out of New York, right?
Yeah,
I think. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, they were both here, and they both just loved the setup. And I'm going to just see if I can find another drawer of Skyline stuff.
That's stubby. That fat and stubby enough for you, Gristle? Hold on. See that nice fat Schaefer italic?
I found another drawer of Skyline stuff. Of course I did. Now, these are a bunch of low ever sharp metal pencils.
It is. It's a paintbrush. I will admit, it's a paintbrush. It actually took a long time to find. It's not really a common nib size to find in the inlaid, the Schaefer inlaid nibs. But hold on, see if I can.
So I don't know if you were asking me the question or not. What do I look for?
No, I was asking Gristle.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't have to tune the feed for it at all. It's a factory Schaefer italic. So
if I were to answer your question, I still am looking for all sorts of stuff, and it's all very, as you know, different. I don't know what my taste is yet of things I want, but those tower pens that I have, I'd really love to get more of those, whether they're duplicates of what I already have or something completely different. I have a feeling that they, based on the styles I got, I have a feeling that they probably had more of them, and where they were putting the feathers sometimes are on the point and sometimes they're on the clip top, and some, all the different locations for them.
Thank you. For me, I don't know, Gristle. I can't say I love one nib more than another. I guess I'm just a nib whore. I'm greedy. I like them all. Um, I I'm like pure. I guess I'd be my own best customer. I do like the needle point end of the scale though. Um, but it's because I'm just, I guess, so used to the earlier end of scale of vintage, and most of them, the earlier, the farther back you go vintage wise, the more towards needlepoint you tend to get. As long as you're light on your handedness. I mean, our dear friend Wasky Squirrel is a little more heavy-handed, and I don't think he'll ever get a hairline, no matter what nib he's got. But yeah, I prefer the
Yeah, that's what
narrower
I
the
was.
better.
That's what I was telling him, and I don't know if he thought I was insulting him or something, but here I said, you have a drawer full of Porsches and Maseratis, and he has a couple of just station wagons
Right.
as well in
Yeah.
terms of his pens.
He's got a
But
few Ford Fairlanes in the parking lot. Yeah.
but he does, but he drives them all like they're Ford Fairlanes. He
Yeah.
doesn't he doesn't take them out on the road, um, and like this pen, I just picked this out of my. I probably will end up buying this for myself. I even love its initials ELM. I like when pens initials spell things.
Wonder if he was a Forester.
Yeah,
That'd be even better.
and oak and elm.
Yeah.
One of my pens, desk pens, I have has the initials WMD, Weapons of Mass Destruction.
Oh Lord, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a weapon of mass destruction more than imaginary things in Iraq. It's what presidents will sign to destroy things. So
The best one though was the one you got last year's Commonwealth show where you bought the wall that had gay.
oh yes, okay.
Yeah.
I have one that I imagine is owned by someone in the undercover law enforcement. It's FIB, not FBI, but FIB.
Fib.
So these little things, these little games we're playing right now with initials, this is something that most factoid-driven pen collectors wouldn't enjoy playing our little party game.
Oh no.
They wouldn't get it, they wouldn't get it, and they wouldn't appreciate it, and they would say, "You're not admiring my, pansy panel enough." Well, too bad. I'm so sorry. You and your pansy panel can see. I just bought this for myself. How's that?
See, I
Should
knew
I
it was going to happen.
should I put a fancier cap on it?
Might as well.
I think brown plastic is one of those colors that in pen production that never should have happened.
Well, they never really choose a nice shade of brown. It's either
Baby
something
shit.
that came out of the child's diaper, or yeah.
Maybe elm Elm can have a very plain black. How's that for elm? Black without the band. Uh-oh, you went away. This nib isn't quite fitting. It's a smaller nib that should probably go. Yeah, brown is weird. I really like this nib, but I think I can put it in a better pen. Okay, Burgundy. Moray. Brown. Burgundy. Should I make a brown one to put that nib in? Okay. Blue. Where's my blue pens? Black or blue? Black and blue are so hard. Blue. Brown. Burgundy. When I crack these barrels, I always think of the movie with Charles Lawton, Paradine Case, where he is cracking walnuts at dinner. His wife is so sad that the woman is, she takes the woman's side. The woman would be hanged next, I don't know, it's some British term for next Sunday week or something like that, he says. And kind of like that. He goes back to cracking his walnuts. So here's another one that's just cracked. Black. Yep. Green. Green. I do have, in addition to these dribs and drabs I'm pulling out of the blue, that I'm pulling out of this thing, I also have a huge drawer full of barrels and caps. Not the clip, but just the sleeves for the caps. So it's like I don't really need to be doing this, but what else am I going to do today? Might as well. Burgundy. Have fun. Okay. Clip. Nib. Feed. Nib. Burgundy. Now, Burgundy is the winner. Nib. Brown. Broken. Nib. Black. Sack. Broken. Leather. Did you paint scenes on them? There was a woman that came to my shop one day with a beautiful, absolutely beautiful dip pen and pencil set. And the handle was ceramic and beautiful hand-painted flowers on them. And she wanted to know how much it was worth. And I said, I have no idea. I've never seen one of these before. But I don't know if it has more value to a ceramics collector than it does to a pen collector. It just had this crossover interest. It's a very fine nib. Ooh, look at this nib, Friedrich der Grosse. Very, very fine. I'm going to see if I can fit that in a pen to keep. This must be a little Wall Oxford. Oh, Schaefer. What's that doing here? The Pear Jane women would be hanged. Sunday week. Should I find that part of the movie so all of us can enjoy it? Okay, let me do this. Let me put this up here and find the Perugine case. Okay, I found it. I found it. So listen to him. He and his wife are chatting at the fuck. I don't want to do that. He and his wife are chatting at dinner after the verdict.
So I have. Give it to me. Been talking even greater nonsense than usual tonight, Sophie. I'm afraid this trial has got on your nerves. I suggest you go to bed. Yes, I will, Tommy. I'm sorry. Oh, that poor woman. Couldn't you do something for her? How dare you speak to one of His Majesty's judges like that, you silly woman? The jury decides questions of guilt or innocence. I may be silly, Tommy, but I love you. I've always loved you. And you must have known for years how terrible it is to love a man who... Oh, Tommy, when you were young, you were kind. You can't sit on that bench and... As long as I sit on that bench, my dear Sophie, I shall continue to do my duty. And I have performed a duty today. The Paladin woman will be hanged after 3 clear Sundays.
I guess that was the line earlier on in the movie. He's cracking walnuts with his wife. Somewhere. I thought he was cracking walnuts at that point. Oh well. Hey, Russell, join us. If you'd like. Russell has a new job, which he can explain to you if he'd like. Maybe, Russell, the experience you're getting in your art classes can get you into the coaching field, since you're dealing with so many people that are throwing things. Hello, Russell. There you are.
Hello. Setting it up. Okay. Oh. What's going on in Peerland?
Well, in Pure Land, I am presently producing pens. We'll just keep the alliteration going. In Pure Land, presently producing pens from shards. I'm sorting out some parts. I started fixing a pen or two and thought, well, I can do a better job than this. So I'm looking through, trying to match up the cap with the right barrel and things like that a little bit more. And how are you, Mr. Stranger?
I'm okay. To go over here. Just trying to get some things done this morning.
Okay. Your sound went out a little bit, but we can deal with that.
Is it more the connection?
It was
Is it
important.
the sound itself?
Well, the sound stopped, and you sort of froze up for a second. So, are your students still doing their gymnastics in your class?
Yeah, there have been slightly less of them lately, though, because as I explained to you, and as I will now say to the people, us, Hydric and a new fellow who vulnerable. As I told you before, we're number one for contagion rate and 51st in the country for vaccination rate.
Uh-huh. I explained that to Matt, and he thought that was very funny. How you can be one worse than the worst, than the worst,
Yeah.
the worst possible number. You can be one worse. But you can explain why that is.
One so bad, imaginary make you down.
Russell, your video isn't working. You're really breaking up. I will explain. It was because they counted Washington, D.C. in there as a separate entity in their calculations. So that's how it got to be 51st.
Let me see if taking it to a different place will.
So Friedrich, I put the very fine needle point accountant nib in Richard Dickerson's pen. Maybe I'll put it into Elm instead, if it can fit in Elm. I suggested to Russell that it might be because they counted Greenland because Trump secretly bought it and they made it into a state. It's a shithole state. It's one of those red states. It's the shithole state.
Mhm. I don't suppose the sound's any better now, is it?
Well, I can hear you fine. When I hear you, but every once in a while it breaks up. So the sound
Okay.
when it comes through is fine. But it does look like you freeze up.
Hmm. It's rather strange.
I just
Must
bought
just be
3
the
more pens from my shop for myself. I'm
Hmm.
so greedy. I'm so greedy that way, Russell.
One has to spoil oneself every now and again.
Every now and
Gotta
again.
go see what the wet.
I tried to find my Don Quixote book the other night because I thought I'm tired of watching videos on YouTube that I've seen over and over and over again. Why don't I just turn on some music and fall asleep to Don Quixote? Almost. I don't know. I have so many books and I don't read a single one of them. I get depressed when I think of that.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but the thing is, you
Okay.
read your books and you remember them. It seems.
Well, yeah, but I don't end up. I basically stopped sort of buying books
Oh, okay.
very much just because I don't get the chance to actually read them. When I do read them, I read them, but
Okay. Oh, you're outside in the open air.
I'm just seeing if there's would be any reason the connection might be better out here. I don't know. I was in my room. Oh,
Why did I just do? I just broke something. Why did I do that?
no, it's but like I said, there were fewer students just because the contagion rates have been higher than they have been in a while. You can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, just making certain. And uh, of course, the funny thing is, our superintendent is apparently has been sort of fudging the numbers or not reporting uh, to the county like she should be.
Aha.
Yeah, like
Are you saying things that you shouldn't be saying out loud?
not necessarily. I mean,
Okay.
not. I don't think anybody who cares would be watching this stream.
Probably not.
So,
Probably not.
but I'll tell you that the apparently we had at least the last at its highest, and I think it was this last week. It was 130 kids gone from our school. So that's like I know that's like 25% of our school's population.
Oh dear.
You'd think they'd give it up and say, "Hey, let's just take a week and do virtual."
Uh-huh. Well, will a week help? I mean, what do you do when you're done with the week?
I don't know, because we can't. It's a matter of. I think they're still working on a vaccine for 12 to 13-year-olds, right?
Oh, okay.
I really don't. I don't know how to resolve the issue. I just know that eventually that it's turned into one, and that, you know, this whole thing is working, but it's also not working.
Well, it sounds to me like it's not working more than it's working. That would be my thought based on what you just told me. So
It creates problems on the education end, because there are kids that are coming in, and then they're getting infected, and then even if they're not feeling sick, they do have to leave for 2 weeks, and then they miss all sorts of homework because they don't really work at home.
yeah,
And I can't blame them for that, because if I was a kid, I wouldn't have really worked from home either.
yeah.
I've basically given up on trying to do any actual grades for my art class, because they're not gonna do their projects at home.
Yeah. Well, it sounds pretty bad. I'm sorry that it's
I mean,
not as. Would you have preferred to have stayed at your other job, or where you
no,
would be
no,
depressed?
because I think at this job, at least, it looks better on paper anyway.
I see. Okay.
And the other job, it would have been the same, except I would have been dealing with slightly older people, right?
Yeah.
So I would have been dealing with the same kind of situation, except I just I wouldn't be doing anything remotely resembling teaching, and I would be expected to, wash towels and do janitorial work most of the time.
But on the same but you also, I mean, when you're teaching, if you wash towels, at the end of the day, you could say, I really washed towels well. But when you're teaching and you can't teach properly, I would think that would be kind of depressing.
No, I mean,
No. Okay.
it's one of those things where I'm just taking things as they come,
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
it's uh, you know, honestly, for now, I've just learned that no, I've learned sort of, no matter what, the job's gonna be just sort of a job,
Yeah.
especially with the cohort of students I have now.
Uh-huh.
But it's gonna, it'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep looking out for, professor positions and all, and try and figure out something. I did visit a new art gallery in a town called Richwood yesterday, and so I might be able to actually get a show up.
Oh,
He's
good.
booked up until May. I just have to send him some work samples.
Oh, great. I did hear back from my contact at that book place. She no longer works there, but I texted her on Facebook, and all she sort of said was, I don't work there anymore, but someone will get back to you, my replacement or something. But she didn't ask to see, your work or anything, which I was,
Well,
I sang its praises a lot, but I think she's one of these people who, I'm done, I'm tired, I've retired, I'm through with this, I don't want to deal with it, which is
I can't blame her for that.
entirely understandable. So,
But I appreciate you doing that. But I'm not expecting all that much from it. We'll see if anything occurs.
again, it wasn't hard for me to do, to type a letter and one text. So, but what I might do is, one of my neighbors in the building has done work for them and illustrated children's books of his own. Piot part he
Yeah.
did, and I think that he would be very keen on helping you if he's able. So,
Well, if you could put in a good word for me or tell me where there might be some places. I mean, I looked at their website. They weren't currently accepting any submissions or proposals for books or anything like that. But, if he knows of anything, that would be great. And if anybody out there in YouTube land knows anything, that would be great too. Though I think they're mostly pen people watching. You still there? Hello?
hello,
Hello?
I'm back. My battery died. What I'm going to
Oh.
do, what I'm going to do is move over to my couch and plug into a more robust.
Yes, Frederick. Actually, I think they counted Washington D.C. rather than Puerto Rico. I think if they counted Puerto Rico as a state, then, they would probably have to actually supply them with some kind of benefit or voting rights. I don't think that they want to do that.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Yeah. What are you drawing?
I'm just drawing something that I started yesterday. Can you see it okay?
Yeah. It is a long-tongued something pretending to
Yeah,
be pretending to be the Hamburglar, and on top of a child,
on top of some kind of
humanoid.
child's face. Yes. I'm not entirely certain what's happening, but things are happening, and I'm really interested in them.
Okay.
At this point, with this kind of stuff that I'm doing here, I'm just more interested in seeing and figuring things out rather than trying to get a particular message across, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. I'm wondering when when this broadcast will break again. I'm on 5%, and then it just quits. And then, so I think what I'm going to do is end the broadcast now and have some breakfast, and I'll restart later in the morning. But if you, Russell, and I would like to chat privately for a little bit, we're welcome. We can do that.
Okay, just for a few minutes before you do your breakfast.
Or afterwards.
Or afterwards, whichever works best.
My breakfast will last all of 1 minute and 28 seconds, probably, the way I eat. But I would like to talk with you, if you'd like. When I say privately, people in the audience, it's not like we're talking about overthrowing the government or anything.
No, we would never do that.
Well, we can talk about that. We can talk about that publicly. No.
The people who were protesting at the Capitol were doing stuff like that. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. How did the protest go yesterday, by the way? I haven't heard.
Oh, they canceled it because barely anybody showed up.
Well, let's hope that continues. People just give up on trying to be douchebags of that particular type. We're all becoming more douchebaggy as we evolve, but that particular douchebaggedness can go away, I think.
I think so too.
Okay, so let me sign off here, everyone. Frederick, it was nice visiting with you, and Russell, I will see you in a few minutes via Skype. Okay, great. Bye.
This message me. Bye. Ciao, ciao a tutti.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.